Okay, so now all of your words, your 4 words, should be created. So now what you need to do is you need to file new, open a new document to get started. Um, I'm just going to go ahead and do the US paper size here. We can leave that there. Okay. Now I'm just going to title this word theme. Make sure to title it right away. Background contents, that is okay for it to be left white because we're going to be changing that. Okay, so now let's make this a little bigger. So now what you simply need to do is all of those PNGs that you saved, those final copies, I don't want you to, you should have a picture, okay? You just need to drag and drop them into the screen. So here's my fall. Okay, and you can change the size of this a little bit. It will look a little blurry. I'm going to move it up, and when I'm done with that, I'm just going to press enter. Oops, I pressed delete instead of enter. Let's try this again. Fall. Change the size. Okay, enter. I'm going to drag that up here. Notice it created a new layer. I gotta find my next one. Here's my spring. Okay. Now notice, now this is just the image. I can't move any backgrounds or anything like that. So we had to create it in a separate one because of this. Okay. Here's my winter. I'm going to change the size of that. And fall, or I need summer. Okay. So now all 4 of your words should be on there ready to go. Now, my finished example, I just simply lined all of these up in a line. That's fine. You can certainly do that, but it is not necessary for you to do. Okay, so you can kind of see. Here's my final example. This is also in the Moodle account that you guys can look at as well. Okay, so let's zoom out. Okay. Okay, so there it is that you can see the whole thing. I just simply lined mine up. You guys can get super creative with this, okay? And I'm going to show you just a lot of different tools. If you want to keep it simple like this is fine. But I would encourage you to, you know, try to at least experiment with some of these things, okay? You'll definitely get some extra points if you do some of that work, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. Okay, so now it is up to you to design these, okay? So, just like we did with our last project, okay, if you need to, oh, before we do this, before I can do anything, I need to rasterize all these layers. Just right click. And notice that little square in the bottom goes away. That just helps us edit them. Okay. All right, so I'm going to make my winter a little bigger. So you guys just depend on the size, what you want. I'm not going to spend too much time doing this because this is something that you guys, this is part of your design, which you'll be doing, okay? If you find that you need to change the paper size for the design that you would like to do, just do it. That's fine. Okay, so to fill in the background colors, what I simply did, very similar to what we did in the pop art project. If I am on the fall layer, okay, oops, apply. If I'm on the fall layer, okay, which I am now, and I just want to change the background, I'm going to take this mark tool up here, and I'm just going to mark it out, okay? And you can use those ruler signs if the rulers on the side to help things get even. Okay, so now I can fill in the background color here. So let's say I wanted my background color to be brown, which it's already set at. Just fill it in. You'll have to fill in some of those shapes. Should be simple, okay? But you need to make sure that whatever your background color is, I can read the word that's in behind it. It needs to be, there's enough contrast. So maybe if I pick kind of this orange color here, okay, that might be okay. I can't really see it as well. Ah, that's probably not a good choice because look, I'm losing a lot of that, okay? So you need to pick a color that has a lot of contrast, okay? Now, you are not just limited to using a solid color background. You can certainly use your gradients and play with some of those tools. You can also use another image to fill in the background, okay? And I can show you how to do that quickly, okay? So, let's say here I want the spring background to have another image that goes along with spring, okay? So I have another image here in my desktop folder. Okay. So I'm just going to drag and drop the image in like we have been doing. Okay, and I have this umbrella. Okay, so now I've created a new layer. Okay, and I have to make sure it's under the word that I want it to go, which just happens to be spring, and it is. If it's not, you just need to move it. Just the size that you need. Okay, so maybe this is what I want here, and when I'm ready, I'm going to press enter. Okay, so now I have a springtime, spring showers, rain that way. You can do that. But some of those areas are kind of hard to read. So you do need to make sure that whatever image you have, it does, there's enough contrast between the two. If you're happy with an image, but you need to adjust the color a little bit, we can edit that, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that. So I need to rasterize this layer here. Okay, get rid of that. So I can change the word, the pictures. I can edit the photo or the image from the word, or I can edit the background. I'm going to start with the background and see how that does. To do that, you're going to go to Image Adjustments, and all of these tools here, all of these things here. Don't really mess with these ones here, but all of these here, these are going to change the color, change the brightness, okay? So these will come up, and you can see it change as I slide the tool, okay? So that, if I keep it like that, it gets lighter or darker, okay? So maybe you can see here that I made that image quite a bit darker. I can still see the umbrella underneath of it, like the subtle tones of spring, but I can clearly read that word, okay? So you need to experiment with those things. You can combine them. Can do that again if I want something to be brighter or more saturation, or change the color. If I want something to be more saturated, look, the colors are gonna get a little deeper, okay? That's totally fine. You just need to find what works best for your image, okay? I can do the same thing here. I want this to be a little deeper in color, so I'm going to go to Hue and Saturation. Oops, I don't want that. Okay, and you can see that those flowers got pinker in those areas. I kind of like that, okay? You can also change the lightness and darkness of things here, okay? So play with that a little bit. You can get really creative with these, okay? You can also set these up in, it doesn't need to be even sections, okay? Let's say I wanted to change the words of something, okay? So let's take winter. Just like we transform an image, edit an image, I can go to Edit, Transform, and you can use all of these on your letters as well, okay? So let's say I want to do this, okay? So now, notice how that stuff changes, okay? Now don't get too crazy because I still need to be able to read the word, but notice you can drag and drop these things to change it, okay? And so this might go into the effect of your design, okay? Some of these other tools will do some other things as well. Under the Edit, Transform, Skew, You can kind of pull things different directions to make pieces bigger. Um, you know, maybe kind of look like they're curving around and things as well. Play with that, okay? Do some different things with it. That's totally fine. But I do need to um, be able to read the words, so it can't be so crazy. All right, but be creative, okay? You guys always come up with some really awesome things. And if there's a tool on here that I don't show you how to use and you figure it out, does not mean that you can't use it, okay? So another option might be change the paper size, okay? And do some different things lining up your images here, okay? So, maybe you don't like any of this. I'm gonna hide this layer here. Okay, so now, okay, there we go. So let's say you just want to arrange these differently, okay? So you could totally, some might be bigger, some might be smaller than others. That's fine. If you want to change the backgrounds like this, go ahead, go to that background layer, and things don't need to be, these don't have to be rectangles, okay? I can take different shapes, different lines, okay? Maybe I want these to be divided up into 6 pieces that aren't necessarily even. Okay, so there's my line tool. Okay, maybe I want to do something like that. Okay. I'm back to that first project we did where I have to merge those layers. Highlight them all. Right click. Merge layers. Okay, now it's all one. So now I can change the background colors of things. Okay, in that shape. I'm just going to make this one black. Okay, so you could definitely do something like this. So now when I go back to that winter layer, I'm going to move that up here, and maybe I want my word to fit inside those shapes. So go to edit, transform, and you can see you can adjust those things to actually fit inside that space. Okay, so play with that stuff, get creative with it. There's really not a right or a wrong answer for this. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this, edit, transform. I'm going to make this a little bigger yet. Okay, and you can combine some of these. So that one wasn't working very well anymore. So press enter to go on. Transform. Okay, this gives you a little bit more individual control over your letters and stuff. This way, this will actually take it letter by letter. Okay. So, play with this stuff, guys, okay? You'll end up doing some pretty cool things, okay? It's up to you how you want to divide up your spaces, but what you do need to have by the end are 4 words with 4 types of division spaces with a background. Nothing should be left white. You can use an image if you choose to. You don't have to. Totally up to you, okay? But experiment, try out some different things. When you are done with this project, whatever I'd like you to do, this time go ahead and save it as a PDF. So do File, Save As, Photoshop. It says Photoshop PDF, okay? You'll go ahead and press Save, press OK. Just keep save. Yes. And after it thinks and saves, you will be able to submit this into the Moodle account.